Everybody, I am Zachary and the Raboot Squad, and today we are talking about an animated film from 2020 that actually came out on its original release date, unlike most of 2020's movies which just got delayed to either 2021 or released on streaming. Or just released on streaming services, is for stupidly ridiculous prices. But today we are not talking about any of those. We are talking about the movie Scoob. Now this film is made by Warner Brothers. It is made specifically by Warner Brothers Animation Group, which we haven't heard from them which the last film they made, the Lego Movie 2, the second part, was a box office bomb. So Scoob was set to be a big cinematic event. Was supposed to be Scooby-Doo's first big cinematic venture in almost 16 years, since Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed was the last Scooby-Doo movie to be released in theaters. But then a little something happened last year which really screwed up the movie badly. Yeah, and I don't know what it was called, or I forgot what it was called. It's like this. It's like something like the Corona virus or something. Something like that. But anyways, the movie ended up. But thanks to that thing, the movie ended up seeing the fate of some of the other year's movies. He's like Mulan, on Soul, and more notably, the one that inspired Warner Brothers to do the decision to release the movie on streaming on May 15th, Trolls World Tour, which was the first movie to do the premium video on demand option, and instead of going straight to theaters, where that one ended up getting released the month before Scoob on April 10th. And after Trolls World Tour was a big giant success, with it rumored to get about $100 million. Or the movie was rumored to have about $100 million worth of video on demand sales on its opening weekend. Then we just never heard from the people who made Trolls World Tour after that. And Warner Brothers decided that was reliable enough to make Scoob a premium video on demand purchase. Now, what do I think of Scoob? Now, I'll admit, I quite liked it. I quite like Scoob. It's definitely not a film that I'd say is perfect, but there is some good aspects of the film. Like how the movie has great voice acting has some pretty good voice acting. Sure, I prefer the original voices, like Matthew Lillard as Shaggy, instead of Will Forte's Shaggy, but Will Forte tries, I guess, to put his own portrayal of the character onto the screen. Then we have Amanda Seyfried as Velma. Not Velma, but Daphne. Which she does a pretty good job as well. Gina Rodriguez does an alright job as Velma. And Zac Efron, I guess, was there as Fred. Also, Jason Isaacs does a pretty good job as Dick Dastardly in this film, as he makes as a good villain, and especially his friendship with Muttley, and especially the later revealed his bond with Muttley, which is later revealed in the film. Now, what is Scoob about? Well, the movie follows the friendship between Scooby and Shaggy. As the mystery gang is set into a big mystery, after Scooby and Shaggy are taken by the Blue Falcon in Dynamite and Dee Dee, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right there. And they do a pretty decent job as well. I mean, they're not as good as the original. I mean, I'd say that none of the actors, besides the one who voiced Scooby, because he was actually the original voice of Scooby-Doo. Well, by original, I mean he's the most recent iteration for the voice of Scooby-Doo, Frank Welker. Because Don Messick was actually the original voice of Scooby-Doo. But he does a good job as Scooby. While the others, they're just not as good as the originals. Like, I think their performances are really good, like I said. But I think the major problem with this film has to rely on the fact that they have to make the movie seem like it's trying to be hip and cool with the kids. Like referencing like one scene where I guess they have Simon Cowell in there. Which, I'm sorry, is Simon Cowell like a thing that the kids like nowadays? Because he's in pretty much because he's practically in a lot of these films as a character. Like, he appeared in the little short film for Shrek 2. He appeared in none other than the Postman Pat movie. And yes, that actually does exist. I don't know why either, but hey. And he's also in this movie. He's talking about how Scooby and Shaggy are not a reliable whole asset to the team. Because they're pretty much just the goofballs. Which they didn't really need Simon Cowell to be in this movie. Like, they just have him in there so they could have a joke at the end. I feel like they just added him in there for that joke at the end of the movie. Which they could have honestly got anybody to play the character. To play this character. They didn't have to... They could have honestly got anybody to be this character. But they had to get Simon Cowell? Well, after watching the review from Bob Show of the Swan Princess movie, I could tell that Warner Brothers and Sony are the most recent people who have been on the make Simon Cowell references bandwagon. Because for some reason, it's now a bandwagon, I guess. Alright, anyways. Then we have characters like... Then the movie goes into a crazy plot line about how they gotta find the 3 heads of Cerberus, the demon dog from the underworld, the 3-headed dog from the underworld, to get to the treasure. So Dick Dastardly can get this. Pretty much in this film, Dick Dastardly's here to pretty much find the 3 skulls of Cerberus to get some loot, to get some treasure. Alright. Sounds like a basic Scooby-Doo movie to me. This movie also features the origin story of Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, and how they met each other and how they met Mystery Inc., which I'm pretty sure besides like one scene in Scooby-Doo 2, and like the 2 sequels to the live action films. Which, to be fair, I don't count those 2 sequels canon. Or was it 3? Oh goodness, Scooby-Doo had so many movies that I can't even count them. Then we had a pup named Scooby-Doo, which I guess you can consider that the canon. And it definitely looks like Scooby-Doo has the style. And it definitely looks like they took from the pup named Scooby-Doo designs. Like, maybe not for Fred, but for like Velma, Daphne, and Shaggy and Scooby, they definitely took from the pup named Scooby-Doo designs. Then we have this movie. But there's only one problem I had with this movie. One major problem, that being that, yeah, the plot is definitely pretty generic. When you think about it, you know how the movie's gonna end because, yeah, it's pretty much the story about Scooby and Shaggy's friendship. And you go through the same arcs that they usually have with these stories, like Scooby and Shaggy start off as best friends, then as the movie goes on, they start to have some disagreements. Then you have the second to third act breakup, then they learn that their bond is inevitable. It's pretty much those plot lines you heard in plenty of other movies about the bond between 2 best friends. Which, I'm sorry, I really hate the second to third act breakup cliche. Like, it's definitely overused at this point. Like, I know the movie needs to find some way for the main characters to split up, so, you know, the climax can happen and stuff. But it doesn't really he makes sense for this one when Shaggy just gets when Shaggy just decides to get mad at Scooby for him hanging out with Blue Falcon more than he does. Or actually, it's because Scooby. It's because Scooby took off his collar. And they specifically had to show the scene where Scooby said, "I'll never take it off." Which was shown in the trailers. Which, to be fair, most of the movie was pretty much shown in the trailer of the movie. Was pretty much shown in the trailer. Like, 80%. Like, yeah, that's pretty much a problem with some of these kids' films nowadays. Some of these family movies nowadays. They tend to show some really important plot elements in the trailers. Like, they don't show all of it, but like, they show way too much elements in the trailers. And like the TV spots, the commercials. Or sometimes you could get big character reveals by just buying a toy from Walmart. I'm looking at you, Mecha Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. But yeah, let me get back to the positive stuff of this movie, because there is definitely some positives I could say about this film. One of them is the animation. The animation of this film is really beautiful. And really, it looks like it's trying to emulate the original cartoon of Scooby-Doo. And it looks like the people behind this film really know their stuff about Hanna-Barbera. And are really... Because there's a lot of cool Hanna-Barbera references. Like, there's a Magilla Gorilla reference. Magilla Gorilla! Also, I like that the movie has... I like the characters' personalities a lot. For example, we have... the acting... For example, Scooby, Shaggy, and the Mystery Inc. gang. I think their personalities are pretty well done. Especially with Shaggy and Scooby. Maybe not Fred, who, well, to be fair, he was kind of attracted to stuff in the in Mystery Incorporated. But there he was mostly attracted to traps. Where in this movie, he's just horny. Because... Anyways, back to the positive stuff. Back to more of the positive stuff. Because I did say this was going to be some positives as well. We also have Dynamite, which I really enjoyed Ken Jeong's performance as Dynamite. I thought he did a pretty good job. So did the actor who played Dee Dee. As well as, surprisingly, Tracy Morgan as Captain Caveman. Even though he appeared in the movie for less than, 20 minutes. Or I think even less, because I think he only appeared in the movie for like 10 minutes. And then he was out of there. Could have used a cool character for the climax of the movie. But from what we see of Captain Caveman in this movie, he does a pretty good job. Tracy Morgan does a pretty good job as Captain Caveman. Also, the music is pretty good in this film. The humor's alright. The humor is funny sometimes. Sometimes it's kinda cringy. Like the pterodactyl crap joke. Like the pterodactyl crap joke that appeared in the movie. Yeah, that really shouldn't have been in the movie. But yeah, then there's also some jokes that are kind of funny, like when and this waitress, like when this person at the bowling alley describes Shaggy, that was pretty funny. And also we have then also there is the jokes from the physical and visual jokes of the film, which I thought were pretty good. Like there is a lot of visual humor in this film, which I thought was pretty nice. Still not as funny as other her movies that utilize visual comedy in there. Still there is better movies that utilize visual comedy, like Shaun the Sheep movie, for example. Uses physical and visual comedy to their advantage, and doesn't even have voice acting like Scoob does. And unlike Scoob, actually does not have voice acting in it for any of the characters. Actually, no dialogue. But overall, Scoob 2020 was a pretty good movie. And I'd say is the better one of the Scooby-Doo movies. Like, maybe it's not as good as Zombie Island, but I'd take this one over the 2002 movie, or I'd take this movie over Monsters Unleashed, and heck, even the 2002 movie. Yeah, I'd take this over. I'm giving Scoob a 7 out of 10. And join me next time where we take a look at another Warner Brothers Hanna-Barbera movie, which judging by the absolutely good movie that they made in 2020 with Scoob, I'm excited to see whatever they have up next for their next movie. Oh no. This is gonna be a rough one, isn't it? See you later, guys. Bye. And don't forget, you gotta catch 'em all.